A day after getting elected as House Speaker, Representative Mike Johnson, now Speaker Johnson, is responding to the deadly shooting in Maine. Earlier today, he called it a, quote, horrific tragedy.
This is a dark time in America. We have a lot of problems, and we're really, really hopeful and prayerful. Prayer is appropriate in a time like this, that the evil can end and this senseless violence can stop.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now. Nikole, do you ever get rest? The speaker's race ends, the new speakership begins. Tell us more about how your reporting has unfolded today on the speaker's response to this Maine shooting. He's being tested from the start with a major national horrific event.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it really is baptism by fire in terms of Mike Johnson's first day of the job, not only having to respond to this shooting in Maine, although when we pressed him about his thoughts on gun reform, gun safety legislation, he did not answer our questions. But, you know, there was also the Australian Prime Minister who was up here today that he met with. He just came back from a meeting with President Biden and congressional leaders, calling that a productive meeting. So it has been a very full day for the new speaker. But, you know, there are still a lot of questions that he has to answer about his past. He hasn't taken a lot of questions from those of us as reporters, particularly when it comes to his positions on the 2020 election, abortion, and other matters. Take a listen. We did try to ask him some questions directly today.
Can you clarify your role on the amicus brief? Do you believe the 2020 election was stolen, sir? Just yes or no? Just for the record, sir.
Now, as we know, the Speaker Johnson was an architect and spearheaded an amicus brief recruiting more than 100 Republicans in support of a lawsuit in Texas to overturn the results of the 2020 election. That was ultimately rejected by the Supreme Court. But it is a question that he has been asked time and again and has yet to answer questions in his capacity as Speaker as to whether or not he still holds those views and whether or not he believes the 2020 election was stolen. That being said, you know, we also, as you saw, tried to ask him about his positions on abortion. And important to note that CBS News has learned that even so far as back in 2005, there was an editorial that Mike Johnson wrote where he compared abortion rights to Hitler, also compared abortion to the Holocaust. Again, we have not been able to ask Speaker Johnson about that, but we did reach out to his office, and so far they aren't commenting.
No comment, but do you expect him to eventually wade into these issues and address some of these lingering questions?
Well, I think that's the hope. Obviously, you know, as we mentioned, it's been a very full day for the speaker. This, you know, he kind of was thrust into this role. So, you know, to a certain extent, today is really about trying to get his bearings, and probably for the next few weeks for that matter. And that is something that, you know, many Republicans acknowledge as well, in terms of he's going to need time to build up his staff. He's going to need time to try to build up his fundraising prowess. We also talked to a couple of members about some of his positions with respect to 2020, with respect to abortion, but specifically on the issue of 2020. Take a listen to what some members told us earlier today and why they still say they're supporting him as Speaker.
What about his views on the 2020 election and the role he played in that amicus brief? You don't have a problem with that?
Well, I certainly don't share and don't have agreement with him on all things. And what I would offer to you is what he said, I think, to several of us was, I understand that I have to represent my personal interest and my district's interest, but as Speaker, I've got to represent this conference and this House.
He is a member of Congress elected by his voters. They've elected him. He made that decision. I made the same decision, by the way. Does that mean that I'm no longer qualified to serve in leadership? Come on now.
So that is the position that many members are taking. I mean, earlier you heard there from Congressman Molinaro, who is from a swing district in New York, you know, and his explanation here is, you know, look, I may not agree with everything that the speaker does, but at the end of the day, this is somebody that can bring our conference together, and that he doesn't expect the speaker to impose his personal views in the speakership. He has to be a speaker for all members, for the entire Republican conference. You know, Congressman Donalds made a similar point. Other members I talked to today. So even if they're at odds with the speaker on certain positions, whether it's 2020, whether it's abortion, they still feel confident in his ability to lead this conference.
Nikole Killion, thank you for your reporting. We appreciate it.